In the natural world, the ulupong, the Philippine cobra, is a creature of absolute patience. It does not hunt with noise. It does not seek attention. It waits. It watches. And when it strikes, the result is final. In 1978, Fernando Poe Jr. took this biological terror and transformed it into a political symbol. Kumander Ulupong isn't just a movie about a man with a gun, it is a cinematic manifesto about the breaking point of the Filipino farmer. Part 1. The Genesis of the Rebel. To understand this film, you have to understand the era. 1978 was a time of heavy silence in the provinces. The gap between those who owned the land and those who bled for it was a canyon. FPJ, acting under his directorial shield as Ronaldo Reyes, stepped into this canyon. The story doesn't start with an explosion. It starts with a theft, the theft of dignity. When the local power structures, represented by the cold, calculated villains that only the Diaz brothers could play with such venom, decide to squeeze the life out of a peaceful community, they trigger a transformation. FPJ's character doesn't want to be a leader. He is a man of the soil who is forced to become a man of the shadows. The Ulupong isn't born out of a desire for power. He is born out of the necessity of survival. Part 2. The Architecture of the Mountain. Most action movies of the 70s stayed in the city, in the neon-lit alleys of Manila, but FPJ took the production into the heart of the wilderness. This was guerrilla filmmaking in every sense of the word. The visual language. Notice the framing. Ronaldo Reyes uses the mountains not just as a background, but as a character. The rebels are often framed as being part of the earth, crawling through the brush, blending into the trees. It's a visual representation of the Maoist tactic of the fish swimming in the sea. The stoic silence. In Kumander Ulupong, FPJ delivers one of his most restrained performances. He communicates through the tilt of his hat and the way he grips his rifle. He isn't a hero who gives long, soaring speeches. He is a commander who leads by presence. When he speaks, the world stops to listen, because his words are as rare as a cobra's strike. Part 3. The Technical Soul, Sound and Steel. Let's talk about the technical craft that separates this from the B-movies of the time. The sound of the jungle. The Foley work in this film is haunting. You hear the snapping of twigs, the rustle of leaves, and the heavy breathing of men in hiding. This sonic realism creates a tension that keeps the audience's heart rate up even when there's no shooting on screen. The weaponry. This is a long gun movie. The bolt-action rifles carry a weight that a modern machine gun lacks. Every shot counts. Every reload is a moment of vulnerability. FPJ's choreography highlights the mechanical nature of these weapons, the click of the bolt, the ejection of the shell. It's a tactile experience for the viewer. The music. The score is a mix of traditional folk motifs and brooding, suspensive strings. It doesn't tell you how to feel. It just sits in the background like the humidity of the jungle, making everything feel heavier. Part 4. The Antagonists, a gallery of greed. You can't have a hero like Ulupong without villains who truly deserve his bite. The Diaz brothers were at the absolute top of their game here. They didn't play cartoon villains. They played men who genuinely believed they owned the people. This class conflict is the engine of the movie. When the final confrontation happens, it isn't just about who is the better shot. It's about the collision of two different worlds, one world built on money and muskets, and another built on sweat and brotherhood. Part 5. Legacy and the Box Office Throne. When Kumander Ulupong was released, it didn't just do well, it dominated. In 1978, FPJ was the single most powerful force in Philippine entertainment. This film was a massive commercial success, but its real earnings were in the cultural capital it built. It earned high praise from the FAMAS and FAP circles for its cinematography and its bold, unapologetic look at rural struggle. It wasn't an award-bait movie, but it forced the critics to acknowledge that action could also be art. It remains a staple of the FPJ full movie archives, viewed by millions even today on digital platforms, proving that the venom of the Ulupong hasn't lost its potency after nearly 50 years. Part 6. The Final Strike. Conclusion. As the final credits crawl over the screen, the message of Kumander Ulupong is clear. The hero doesn't win because he is the strongest, he wins because he is the most patient. He is the snake that the oppressors forgot was in the grass. Fernando Poe Jr. left us with a library of legends, but Kumander Ulupong remains one of the sharpest. It's a reminder that beneath the quiet exterior of the masa lies a power that, when provoked, can take down giants. Final close-up of FPJ's eyes. He pulls his hat down. The screen cuts to black. Nothing is forgotten, and nothing is over. This is the Batas of the mountains. This is Kumander Ulupong.